The idea came to me of a piece of art of a girl holding a sword tightly in her hands because fighting is all she's ever known her whole life. So she's a warrior. And in this moment that I was trying to capture would be God telling her that it's over and she doesn't have to fight anymore, that she can put the sword down and that she could let go. She didn't need to fight anymore because he would be fighting her battles for her now. There is a lot of personal involvement in this piece because I feel that the sword that I'm holding onto is anxiety, is my worries, my overwhelm about the things that trigger me in my life. That even though I am in a better place physically, my body is still trying to hold on to the things of the past. My body's still stuck in the past. It's stuck in old experiences and old traumas that, even though I know aren't there anymore and won't happen again, it remembers. It remembers. And when pain is all of you know in your whole life, even though you know it's good to be rid of it, even though you know that it's good to not have it, it still feels strange because it's something that I've grown accustomed to since a child. Since I can remember, I've been fighting in my family, in myself. The fighting and holding on to things and trying to survive is all I've ever known. I have not known how to live, only survive. And I wanted this encounter with God. I wanted to depict it because that's what he's told me before. To let go, right? To put the sword down. To stop trying to find the chaos in everything. That even at the smallest sight of discomfort, inconvenience, bad days, I resort back to my old ways and think, oh no, it's gonna happen again. Oh no, it's this thing all over again. And it's not. But it's so hard to see when the experience hasn't just been one time. It's been multiple times over multiple years. It's hard to go from that to a whole new chapter, a whole new book in my life, and just put down the sword, right? It's so much easier said than anything. It's so much easier to draw out what I feel like inside than to do the thing, right? Knowing that the experience is over and done with, knowing that the battle is done, that I can rest now, that life will be anew, but having that PTSD of in any moment, at any given chance, it can happen again. And it may happen again. And I'm gonna feel it again. And all these things and all these feelings I try to avoid. But every day I have to remind myself that that is not true. Because God rescued me from my own perishing, not just by dying for me on the cross, but from many traumatic situations I've been in. He's always kept me safe, regardless of what I've been through. And he rescued me from my own self. Because if it wasn't for him, I would have gone crazy. I would have done something really bad to myself. I would have not been here. But it's time to move on. The hardest part is healing. You would think it would be being in the situation, but getting out of it, changing your whole mentality, your whole brain, your whole everything has been one of the hardest things I've ever had to face. Surrendering to God in every aspect. Not just, oh yeah, God, I will give you my creativity. Yes, God, I can give my money to the church, to the poor, all kinds of things. It's no, yes, God, I will give you these thoughts, these mentalities, these experiences and let you teach me differently. Let you fight for me and put down the sword. And I might pick it up again. Even if I put it down for one day, the next day I might pick it up again. And maybe the next day, and maybe the next day, and 2 days, and maybe I won't pick it up in a few hours and pick it up again. But learning with him and walking with him step by step to learn that I can trust him with every single part of me, with my thoughts, with my feelings that sometimes feel like they'll eat me alive, is that beautiful. It's a part of that beautiful relationship that people talk about that. Although I've always heard about, I think I've only am beginning to experience that for the first time now that I'm on the other side of the past trauma and the past experiences. This goes for anyone, including me, that may have trouble to do that. I used to think that if I would just have the will and the strength enough to put it down and never pick it up and be so on fire for God and all this hype and heightened emotions I would feel, that it would be over. And I think I had the wrong impression of what renewing your mind is, what trusting God is, what all these things that people around me always spoke about. I think it was only when God took me out of the horrible situation I was in that I began to experience what it really meant to have a relationship with him where I could actually trust him, where it wasn't just, oh yeah, I could trust God to take care of my physical needs. Oh yeah, I could trust him with some of my thoughts, but all of my thoughts, all of the things, my mentalities, my bad habits, like all these feelings that I have, I can't say that I made a lot of progress, but I will say that I definitely have a new perspective on things. And although I wish I could encourage everyone, including myself, I'll definitely say that I know that I'm not alone anymore. And I hope that the people around me feel the same when they're in my presence. That there are others that feel the same way and the same things that we feel and gone through the same things that we have. And I can definitely say that God is reteaching me things. We're learning new stuff and taking down old habits, old patterns. And it is so hard. It's harder than anything I've ever been through to heal. But I know it's not impossible. And I hope that you know it's not impossible. And that I see people now, and even myself, the healing that God has already begun in me, in spite of how painful it is, that there's hope, no matter what we've been through. As long as we're breathing, there's hope. As long as we wake up, there's hope. And I want this to be an illustration that whether our battles are done or ongoing, God can always and still is fighting for us. And all we have to do is put down the sword.